Spice and Wolf, Volume 23, Springlog 6 by Isuna Hasekura. The Gem of the Sea and Wolf. Years after their marriage, Lawrence and Holo, a cunning merchant and a wise wolf spirit disguised as a young woman, find themselves celebrated in the annals of the town of Salonia. The record details Lawrence's astute solution to the town's debt crisis and Holo's undeniable influence over her husband. Holo, ever the prideful being, relishes the recognition, much to Lawrence's amusement. Their peaceful life is briefly interrupted by Elsa, a priestess and old friend, who delivers news of Kal, their adopted son, and Myuri, their daughter, who have become renowned figures within the church under the titles of Twilight Cardinal and Saint Myuri. While proud of their achievements, Lawrence and Holo worry about their whereabouts and well-being. Their concerns are momentarily set aside as Holo is tasked with selecting the beverages for the upcoming harvest festival, a job she eagerly accepts. Elsa approaches Lawrence and Holo with a peculiar request. A remote mountain village known for its trout hatchery and unofficially called the Rahden bishopric after its founder, Lord Rahden, has fallen on hard times due to disease wiping out their fish. The villagers, led by Mayor Solto, seek a loan from the church to secure Lord Rahden's position as a bishop, believing this would ensure the village's future prosperity and stability. The church, however, is hesitant due to the current climate of scrutiny surrounding its financial dealings. They ask Lawrence to find a way for the loan to be granted without raising suspicion. Upon arriving at the church, Lawrence and Holo are met with a crowd of villagers from the Rahden bishopric. In a meeting with Mayor Solto and the bishop, they learn of Lord Rahden's history. He is a man from the distant land of Rahdeli, who arrived in the area after escaping his war-torn home. He built the village and hatchery, providing refuge for those displaced by war and saving Salonia from famine with his bountiful fish harvests. Despite the villagers' insistence, Rahden refuses to become a bishop, stating his desire to remain in the village and revitalize the hatchery. The situation takes a chaotic turn when the burly and headstrong Rahden arrives, revealing that he was unaware of the villagers' plans and is adamantly against the loan and becoming a bishop. He insists on returning to the village and focusing on the hatchery, despite its recent failures. After a tense encounter, Elsa manages to calm the situation and asks Rahden and his grandson, Balm, to remain while the other villagers leave. Balm reveals that he brought Rahden to Salonia against the wishes of the villagers, believing it was important for Rahden to be present for the discussions. As Lawrence tries to understand Rahden's reluctance, Holo, initially dismissive of the situation, becomes contemplative. She recognizes a parallel between Rahden's situation and her own experience in Paslo, where she was revered as a deity but ultimately displaced by the villagers' advancements in wheat cultivation. Holo realizes that Rahden, despite his outward strength, is deeply affected by the failure of the hatchery and the villagers' shift to deer hunting. He feels he is losing his place in the village he built and is being pushed out, despite the villagers' good intentions. Lawrence and Holo, now understanding the emotional core of the issue, devise a plan to address both the villagers' desire to show their gratitude and Rahden's anxieties. They propose a festival celebrating Rahden's contributions to the village, where he would symbolically fish for coral from a newly constructed pond using a hook shaped like the church crest. The coral would be represented by deer antlers, symbolizing the villagers' current livelihood and its connection to Rahden's efforts. Elsa, impressed by their insight, suggests incorporating a passage from the scripture where God tells a future saint to become a fisherman of men. This act would serve as a gesture of appreciation and encouragement for Rahden to embrace his new role as bishop. The plan comes to fruition during Salonia's harvest festival. A play is performed depicting Rahden's journey and contributions, culminating in him fishing for deer antlers from the pond. The villagers erupt in celebration, and Elsa presents Rahden with the scripture passage and his old fishing net, encouraging him to embrace his new role. Overwhelmed with emotion, Rahden agrees to become a bishop, and the villagers rejoice. As the festivities continue, Lawrence and Holo share a quiet moment. Holo, initially apprehensive about Lawrence's desire to acquire land and titles, reveals that she is not against the idea but worried about the burden it would place on them. She also expresses her fear of being left alone as Lawrence ages. He assures her of his love and commitment, and they agree to continue their journey together, embracing both the joys and sorrows that life brings. Summer's Harvest and Wolf. During a peaceful summer in Nyohira, Holo lounges by the hearth, enjoying the quiet morning. Their daughter Myuri bursts into the bathhouse, claiming there is a demon in the mountains, and urging Kal, their adopted son and aspiring priest, to help vanquish it. Holo, sensing an opportunity for a mushroom-picking expedition, encourages the outing. Lawrence and Kal, burdened with supplies for a mushroom stew lunch, struggle to keep up with the energetic wolf mother and daughter as they trek through the mountains. A frightful discovery and a wise wolf's laughter. After a long walk, they reach a secluded spot with a large, moss-covered tree. Myuri, disappointed they haven't found the demon yet, suddenly becomes alert and dashes behind the tree. A scream pierces the air and Myuri runs back to Kal, terrified, claiming to have seen the demon. Holo, amused by the situation, leads Lawrence to the spot and reveals the demon to be a peculiar type of mushroom, resembling a pale, severed hand. Lawrence, initially frightened himself, is both relieved and embarrassed. They enjoy their mushroom stew lunch and gather more mushrooms to take home. An Old Hound's Sigh and Wolf. Elsa, burdened by the Salonia bishop's machinations and the complexities of church finances, seeks solace in a quiet tavern. Holo joins her, expressing her own frustrations with Lawrence's recent enthusiasm for becoming a nobleman. The bishop, hoping to secure Lawrence's support in the ongoing tariff dispute between wine and ale merchants, has offered him land and titles once belonging to the Voragine family, renowned for slaying a great serpent that disrupted trade in the region. Holo worries that Lawrence is being tricked and that his newfound ambition will lead them away from their peaceful life in Nyohira. Elsa, recognizing Holo's anxieties, suggests seeking the wisdom of Tanya, the squirrel spirit from the Valen bishopric. Tanya joins them, and they discuss the legend of the great serpent. Elsa reveals her research from the church annals and the possibility that the serpent was not actually killed but merely chased away. Lawrence, having overheard their conversation, joins them and shares his findings. He believes the serpent myth may be fabricated and that the high tariffs are unjustified. He intends to investigate the origins of the tariffs and expose the truth, but Holo remains skeptical of his chances of finding evidence. Elsa, observing their interactions, recognizes Holo's fear of losing Lawrence to his ambition and her own desire to maintain their peaceful life together. Lawrence leads Holo, Elsa, and Tanya to the old Voragine fortress. He shows them a peculiar pattern in the wheat fields, visible only from the top of the tower, resembling the tracks of a giant serpent. Holo is initially baffled, unable to sense any trace of a snake, and questioning how such a creature could leave tracks without damaging the wheat. Lawrence explains that the tracks are actually the remnants of an old river that was intentionally dried up. Lawrence reveals that the Great Serpent was not a mythical creature, but a metaphor for smugglers who used the river to transport lumber and avoid tariffs. The hero Voragine, instead of slaying a monster, dried up the river and exposed the smugglers, earning him his titles and privileges. Lawrence plans to use this knowledge to negotiate a compromise between the lumber merchants and the church, ensuring fair tariffs and securing a portion of the wheat harvest for Nyohira, as a lasting reminder of their journey. Holo, initially annoyed by Lawrence's secretive investigation, is ultimately touched by his gesture and the memories it will preserve. Elsa, observing the couple's affectionate exchange, reflects on her own homesickness and extends an invitation to Tanya to join her in Terrio. Tanya, overjoyed at the prospect of companionship, readily accepts. As they depart, Elsa and Tanya wave goodbye, while Lawrence and Holo prepare to continue their journey, cherishing the moments they share together. The Color of Dawn and Wolf. As the Salonia festival draws to a close, Lawrence finds himself reflecting on his past and the lessons he learned from his eccentric mentor, a traveling merchant who took him in as a young boy. He recognizes the similarities between his mentor's outlook on life and his own anxieties about the inevitable loneliness that accompanies a life on the road. He knows he must be mindful of Holo's well-being as they prepare to depart Salonia and continue their journey to find Myuri. Elsa announces her intention to return to her home in Terrio, leaving Holo with a sense of melancholy despite her attempts to appear indifferent. Elsa, sensitive to Holo's emotions, explains that she is simply homesick and assures her they will meet again. Tanya, who has grown attached to Holo, is also saddened by the impending separation. Lawrence and Holo visit the former Vorigin territory to select the specific field that will provide them with wheat as part of the agreement they negotiated. Holo, initially indifferent to the choice, selects a field marked by a hedgerow, explaining that easily identifiable landmarks provide stability and continuity amidst the ever-changing landscape. Lawrence, touched by Holo's foresight and concern for their future, reflects on the permanence of their bond and the memories they have created together. They participate in the lively harvest activities at the fortress, joining the villagers in husking wheat and sharing a festive meal. As the sun begins to set, they depart for a river port where they will board a boat and continue their journey downstream. During a quiet moment at a riverside tavern, Holo confides in Lawrence, revealing that she finds joy not only in the exciting moments of their travels, but also in the quiet moments of reflection, and even the sadness that comes with parting ways with friends. She expresses her gratitude for Lawrence's unwavering love and support, acknowledging that he has taught her to embrace the full spectrum of human emotions. As the night grows lively with music and revelry, Lawrence and Holo request a song from a traveling minstrel. Holo, desiring to experience the full range of emotions, asks for the most upbeat and deafening tune he knows. The tavern erupts in a raucous celebration, while Lawrence and Holo share a quiet moment of understanding and appreciation for the journey they share. They acknowledge the uncertainties and challenges that lie ahead, but find comfort in knowing they face them together. As the sun rises once again, they set off on their next adventure, their bond stronger than ever. If you enjoyed this summary, please consider subscribing to the channel.